Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another collective reading. We are going to be looking at 1212 portal and the full moon in Gemini that just passed. We're still feeling the energies. Remember, we feel that energy a few weeks before and a few weeks after. Now, what they've also been telling me is that December, there's a lot of cosmic events going on in December. We have 1212, we have the full moon, we have 1221 portal, we have an eclipse, and then we have the new year, which is another portal, because that is the gateway into new earth, a new decade, but actually the gateway into new earth, which is what they've been channeling to me over the past few readings. So before we get started, and you guys don't skip these intros and go right to the cards, because I start channeling as soon as I hit record. If you guys are new here, welcome, new subscribers. So there is going to be information here that might be beneficial to what we pick up in the reading. So I was going to do a 12/12 full moon reading late night, Wednesday evening. My energy drained. That didn't happen. I went right to bed. Then I was going to do it yesterday, but that didn't happen. I was busy getting caught up on client readings, but also my Divine Masculine ended up showing up at my house. Was not expecting that. That was a complete surprise. And how did that go? I can hear you guys asking, how did that go? In the beginning, it was a little bit, there's a little bit of friction between us, but then it was like we completely opened up. I ended up completely opening up and spilling even more of my heart, which is what I've done. It feels like that's what I've done over the past 2 years, but I feel like for the first time, I was really direct in my communication and what I want. I told him what it is that I want from the connection, what it is this connection means to me. And a little bit about what this connection actually is, that this is not the 3D relationship that we still held on to or hold on to. I explained to him that the first year, the first 6 months or so, before I really understood what was happening on this journey, I held on to the old paradigm of what I thought relationships were. What I thought relationships were. There was a lot of codependency there. There was a lot of control, distorted feminine energy on my end, because I was too much in my masculine energy, because I spent my life in masculine energy of fighting for everything that I wanted and everything that I needed, not trusting that that would be provided to me. Especially when it came to things like my illness. I fought for my diagnosis. I fought for my doctor. I fought for my medication and everything associated with that. Fought for my job. Fought for just everything associated with that. Fought to keep friends. Fought to keep family. It was just a constant state of survival. When I met my Divine Masculine, that is what helped me to change and to see things from a different perspective. That was Ascension. I had already had my spiritual awakening, but you go through more than one spiritual awakening in your lifetime, and Ascension is next level awakening. Ascension is different than awakening in that you're completely stripping down the identity of who you thought you were. You can still maintain the identity. I love being Susan. I love this life that I've created, and I can't wait to see where this life brings me next, especially as I open up to abundance and open up to the power and divinity within myself and how I can co-create with the universe. I am excited to see where this leads me in this identity, in this incarnation. But Ascension really shows you how to strip all of that down, and that you are more than the egoic identity that you've taken on in this lifetime. You're more than Susan. You're more than your name. You're more than, the family that you've created, that you've chosen for yourself. You're more than your interests. You're more than your hobbies. You're more than your career. You're more. You are soul, and that's what Ascension really shows you. And it shows you that by dismantling the ego, and sometimes even dismantling your physical world, because your physical world, as we've been channeling, becomes so small that you and your expansive energy can't fit into that container anymore. And so you're expanding as a soul, getting rid of all that, what I like to call soul sludge, all that dense energy, the pain, the karma, the patterns, the mindsets, the beliefs, even the relationships that keep you small, so that you expand and you don't fit into that container of the life that you created, that past version of yourself that created for yourself right now. Because what you see in your physical world now, that's the manifestation of what a past version of yourself had created. And so with your soul expansion, you're realigning your entire life as you manifest for bigger and more and greater and bolder, and dare I even say it, better. And so, where was I? I was talking to my Divine Masculine and telling him that, I was trying to put this very deep soul spiritual connection that I've always felt with him, maybe didn't recognize in the beginning, into this container of what I thought I knew from past relationships. And, that was what caused a lot of confusion on my end. And as he was going through his ascension, especially the past, I want to say 6 months to a year, I feel like he was doing the same. There was a lot of confusion on his end. And so that caused a lot of the miscommunication. All of our struggles really have come from miscommunication. Underneath all of that, there's been so much love. And I've said this in my Ascension Confessions videos, where you can follow my journey. I've actually charted my journey with my Divine Masculine, all the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs, and what I've been learning on the Ascension Confessions playlist. You can check that out if you're interested. But it's led us here, which is more harmony and more understanding, and a wanting to reach out and understand each other. And there's always been, underneath any toxicity that's come up between us, not being toxic to each other, but it was just that karma and that baggage and trauma and anything that was coming up between us that we were showing to each other, your reflections of each other. So you're showing that to each other, what needs to be healed, what needs to be cleared. And underneath, every experience we've had, because I've spent the majority of the past 2 years with my Divine Masculine as best friends in actual physical proximity. And anytime we had triggers or challenges or arguments, there was always, within the span of an hour or a few days, there was always that element of forgiveness and love between us two that just flowed, naturally flowed. And that's what true divine counterparts encounter. They feel that love, they feel that forgiveness. The toxicity isn't between you two. And I'm going to link, I feel like, especially for new viewers, I'm going to link it in the description box below. I do talk about the difference between karmic soulmates and twin flames. Those are just labels. Take the situation and your connection as it resonates for you. But in order to differentiate between the feeling, the soul connection that you're feeling, that you're experiencing, I kind of laid it out on my website, and I'll link that below. But there's a difference between soul connections, and that all comes down to your own intuition. Nobody, and I say this all the time, nobody, no matter how talented, how psychic, how gifted they are, no matter how close they are to you, nobody can tell you what your soul connection is but you. You have to trust your own intuition and what it is that you're feeling, and have faith in that. Trust in that. Trust in yourself. Having some throat activations today. So my divine counterpart and I, there was a little bit of friction, but it was basically, I opened up and I told him, explained more about what this connection is, and I could see, I explained some visions that I've had recently of us together in a past life, and I think I mentioned it on the channel before. We had been together in Lemuria, and I could feel and I could see that he felt the truth of that he felt the truth of that vision. And I think that was the first time, because I've had visions before, and I think that was maybe the first time that I actually felt that he felt the truth of that and the power of that. And that opened us up to the next phase of our conversation where he was opening up. And the difference between the very first moments when we started talking and maybe an hour or so later, our conversation, then there was a difference there. The guard dropped. I saw it. I saw the shift in him. I saw that there was such a guard up when we first faced each other, when we were first talking. There was a guard up. And it was almost like, and I'm sure for myself as well, and it was almost like once the guard dropped, it was like we saw the soul of each other again. We were talking soul to soul. We were talking heart to heart. There was nothing there between us but the love. And because there was nothing between us, there was no ego between us. Because there was no ego and there was no guard between us, the conversation flowed beautifully and peacefully. And we were able to be open and honest with one another. And so I'm going to link it in the description box below as well. What happened, a couple of videos that might be beneficial to you if you're experiencing this. What happens when you're coming into sacred union, the process of sacred union, it is a process, so be aware of this. There might be some in and out. There might be some communication and then some withdrawing because the energy between you guys is so incredibly powerful, especially when you come into physical connection. And there might be some ego. There might be some guard that's still up when you're coming back into connection. But you'll also notice that there is a difference. You'll also notice more of a flow of love. And just stay in your heart space, Divine Feminines. Stay true to who you are and maintain your boundaries as well. Stand up for yourself, stand your ground. Because the more you do that, the more the guard drops for both of you, the more the ego resolves for both of you, and you can be more in a place of love. And I saw that shift within the space of maybe whenever it was we were talking, an hour or two. I saw that shift, and I kept calling on my angels. I said, angels, please help us in this connection, because it didn't seem to be going in such a good way when we first started talking. It didn't seem to be going well. To be honest, I thought that maybe we were going to say that we needed to separate for good. But I didn't want that. I know my divine counterpart didn't want that. And, I just kept going into my heart space and feeling the love and focusing on the love and choosing to view him from a place of love and myself from a place of love, the situation from a place of love. And my guard dropped. And as my guard dropped, his did as well. And the situation, the conversation completely transformed to an open dialogue, an open flow of love. So, I'm going to put that in the description box, what coming into sacred union actually looks like and might mean, what you might be experiencing, as well as how detaching can lead to sacred union, can lead to a better flow of love between you two. I'll put that in the description box below. So those have been some powerful messages. I'll put that in the links of interest. Those have been some powerful messages that have been coming forth in the past few readings. So if you're resonating with everything that I'm saying here with these messages, and you haven't already checked out those videos and listened to those videos, those might be beneficial to you as well. So right now, we might be feeling some of the intensity. I know that I had a massive healing with a friend earlier in the week. So I feel like I'm feeling some of the wobbles from that, but I feel like I'm also feeling some of the intensity of the 12/12 portal and the full moon that we just experienced. It was a major full moon, especially for divine counterparts. It was a full moon in Gemini, which is the sign of the twins. It's a sign of the lovers in the traditional tarot deck. Now, twin flame, remember, that is just a label. The label does not matter. It is the connection. I sometimes call it twins. I sometimes call it divine counterparts. I prefer divine counterparts because that, I feel, encompasses the connection more fully. I feel like the label twin flame and twin soul even, has gotten a little bit corrupted. And there's been a sense of... I feel like there's been a sense of ego placed on that label as well. So I prefer divine counterpart because that really shows you that your divine masculine is a counterpart to you as a divine feminine, or vice versa. You truly are the yin and the yang. And so I prefer to use that, but really any label that you use, it's the connection that you feel and not the connection that anybody is telling you or explaining to you. It's what you feel inside. The label doesn't matter. It helps to differentiate, especially when we're teaching, especially when we're learning. It helps to understand. That's why labels are good. Labels help us to understand what is happening. Words help us to understand what is happening. It helps us to set the intention, but it's truly about the vibration. It's truly about what it is that you are feeling. Sorry, I have dog hair all over this. I have 2 dogs, so that's no coincidence. So what's happening is we might be feeling today after the full moon, you might be feeling some wobbles, as I like to call it, but it's just there might be some purging. If you met up with your divine counterpart, if you communicate with your divine counterpart, the energy between you two is so strong, the love between you two is so strong that it might cause some purging. And again, it's not because of the two of you. You're not detrimental to each other. It's just whatever comes up to be clear, whatever comes up to be healed, because the energy is so strong between you two that sometimes you need to balance out that energy. What's happening is you're integrating harmony. You're integrating balance. You're integrating your energies back into each other. You're merged back into each other. And what happens with the merging is you have to integrate that. It's all happening energetically. But when you come together in physical proximity, in human form, in physical proximity, is the energy is so strong between you two. And the harmony and the love is so vast and expansive that that energy that comes up between you two just has to integrate. It's almost like heart expansions have to happen to integrate the light, to integrate the harmony, to integrate the balance, to integrate the energies and the love between you two. Because it's just more and more and more love. And as we go along on this journey into sacred union, you will be integrating that. You will be merging that back together. You will be balancing that out. It will feel more harmonious, but you might have some purges in the meantime as that energy is integrating. So I hope we'll talk more about that. I feel they're actually telling me as more shifts happen, and as we go further along in the process of sacred union, there are going to be more messages that talk about that. They are telling me that now. They're saying you don't have to talk about it right now, but that is what's happening, and we will share more about that, the process of sacred union. But they're actually pointing me to 1221. There is a corridor open right now between 1212 and 1221 where massive shifts are happening. And if you're not seeing that yet in the physical, you will be possibly after 1221, where we're really anchored into that harmony. We're really anchored into that balance and the merging of the energies between you two. So right now, they're telling me that in that corridor, in that time frame of this next week or so, these next 10 days, it's really about balancing out the energies and integrating. And it might be coming up as purging. It might be coming up as triggers. But keep staying in your heart space, keep transmuting the energy, keep doing the meditations, keep doing the healing, keep balancing out your own energies. And if you feel like it's your divine counterparts, I yell at my divine counterpart all the time when I know it's his. He sent me a song the other day, and I told him this yesterday, and he laughed. He's like, yeah, that sounds right. And he sent me a song the other day that I hate, that he sent me once upon a time when he was projecting on me and angry at me. And ever since then, I've kind of loved to hate this song. And he sent me that as a download, telepathically, he sent me that as a download. And immediately, as soon as I started humming it, I knew what was happening. I could feel the frustration. And I told him, I said, knock it off. I said, knock it off. You're not going to bring me down. You're not going to bring my vibes down. And I shot him some love, and immediately I felt the love returned. I felt that love from him wash over me. So shoot them love, talk to them, yell at them if you need to energetically, but do so from a place of love, do so from a place of compassion, because you guys are becoming so merged that you're having that telepathic communication, you're getting those downloads, you're having conversations with each other, and even if it might not be in the physical yet, you're feeling each other energetically because of that soul merge. Okay, so they're pulling back, so we're going to actually dive into the tarot and see what is actually going on between these counterparts. How are you actually feeling? We're going to play it by ear. Let's see what's shifting between these counterparts. Do I want this? Yeah, this deck feels good. Let's see what's shifting with these counterparts because of the moon, because of the full moon and the 12/12 portal. And then we'll channel some messages. You guys, I don't even need the cards to channel anymore. That's why I say please do listen to the intro, because there's some powerful messages and information there. Okay. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to get overall energies with the intention of how this full moon 12/12 portal has shifted for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Yeah, let's do a set of 6 cards, please. Divine masculine. How's the divine masculine feeling after this 12/12 portal? Calmer, more balanced, more stable. Yeah. And how's the divine feminine feeling? No, let me get a different deck. I'm feeling this one. How's the divine feminine feeling? You guys, I am still open to personal readings. I have all of my offerings available on my website if you want me to tune into your personal situations. If this scenario is resonating with you and you want a personal reading, I am going to be closing for the holidays, but I'll keep you updated. I will be open to emergency readings, of course, if you need that. I'll let you know when I'll be closing down, but make sure that you get your bookings in now before then, if you are interested. Divine feminine. How's the divine feminine feeling since this 12/12 shift? And I'm calling it the full moon 12/12 shift, but I'm going to refer to it as a 12/12 shift because that feels very, it feels like that's what was important. 12/12 shift for the divine feminine. Okay. So divine masculine, they are feeling more balanced within themselves. I'm feeling like they are feeling more harmonious within themselves, almost like they have overcome a dark night of the soul and now they feel like they can move forward. It feels like a sigh of relief, like they're feeling like something has shifted within them. Right now it does feel like a little bit of a pause with the 4 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles. It does feel like they are integrating that energy just like we talked about. And again, that 12/12 to 12/21 corridor between the 2 portals, between the 2 gateways, it does feel like we're integrating that energy here. But they are moving forward with more clarity about their situation, about this connection, about themselves. It does feel like they have reached some kind of resolution within themselves. And let's see what this is about. Let's get some more information. What's going on here? What's the 6 of Swords about? Divine masculine, please. Yeah, they put an end to the toxicity within their life. They put an end to the karma there. And look, we have the Lovers. And if you know traditional tarot, and you guys know me, I like my visuals, so I'm going to get it. Give me 1 second. Spirit shows it to me, so I do it. And a reminder, I don't read tarot traditionally. If you are a traditional tarot reader, if you know the cards, you understand the meanings, and you're picking up on something else for your own situation, please do take it for your own situation. I channel messages directly from Spirit, so I read the cards based on the energies versus based on the meanings, the traditional meanings. So the bottom of the deck, we have the Lovers, which is interesting because we have the Devil here. And what they're saying is what was the resolution was a closing out of karma, the closing out of toxicity, especially within themselves. Now, toxicity outside of yourself is only a reflection of what you're experiencing within. Disharmony in relationships and career, imbalances, mindsets, patterns, addictions. It's only because there is something within the self that needs to be healed and cleared and expanded upon, almost like a soul evolution. And so the resolution, they have cleared that out or are clearing that out, that the karma, the cyclical karma situations are closing and have closed, and now they feel that sense of relief, like they're more balanced in themselves, like they have a clear mind now, like they have clear direction, and they can move on into those calmer waters, more balanced waters. The bottom of the deck, we had the Lovers. What's interesting about this is, look at the traditional tarot. The Devil is representative of the Lovers, almost like the opposite of the Lovers, where they are chained to something. Here they are free and being guided by the divine. Here it's being guided by the ego. That is what they've closed out. They have closed out the ego. They have tamed the ego. They have dismantled the ego so that they're no longer chained. And this could be some kind of third party that they were kind of attached to. Relationship, career, finances, addictions, mindsets, beliefs, patterns, whatever it was. I don't read third party as in relationships, but whatever this was, whatever this karmic cycle was, it had been making them feel chained because of their own fear, because of their own ego, because of what was inside of themselves, those false beliefs that were keeping them trapped in that karmic cycle. But now they have cleared that out, and look how free they are. There's no chains there. And they are believing now in their own intuition. They are following their heart. They are following divine guidance. Being led now. Being led back to you. Being led back to this connection. That's beautiful. So right now, they're in a little bit of a state of pause. Some might actually be going into hermit mode, withdrawing a little bit because energy is integrating right now. It's almost like after a really dark night, after a really tough challenge, you just need to pause, rest, reflect on everything that you've been through. That's the energy here. But in the meantime, they're still manifesting, wanting to harvest all the seeds that they had planted. I feel like there's a card after this. Give me 1 second. What's after the Seven of Pentacles? Yeah, the Ace of Pentacles. They want this new beginning. They are harvesting this brand new beginning. Still manifesting this new beginning. But right now, it's just a little bit of rest. It's just a little bit of a rest period. But they are moving towards this, a brand new beginning, a solid offer. For a lot, this is actually commitment as well. I'm hearing commitment to themselves, for happiness for themselves, wanting what brings them happiness. And what brings them happiness is this connection, is you, divine feminines. But it's almost like they're finally committing to themselves and their own happiness. And isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful energy? Because before, within this toxicity, with this toxic energy, what they were actually doing was they were sacrificing themselves for others out of duty, out of obligation, out of responsibility, out of the old programming of patriarchal conditioning, which said that you have to sacrifice yourself for others. This could be family, this could be children, this could be service work, mission work, career, finances. But here they're finally understanding that they can have it all, and they're deserving of it all. And this is them committing to themselves, a brand new beginning, committing to themselves. And look what's here, Three of Cups. This is my union card. My union card, because this is celebration and joy in this card. This is nothing but joy and happiness and a coming together to celebrate. For me, what this they had always channeled to me was, this is the divine masculine, divine feminine, and the divine itself in complete sacred union, a complete merging of those energies of masculine, feminine, and the divine, coming back into wholeness. Knowing that you're never separate from the divine itself, just like you're never separate from your feminine or your masculine energy within yourself and with your counterpart in the physical world. This is sacred union within, energetically, and without in the physical. Especially with this Ace of Pentacles, this is something tangible. This is the physical incarnation. This is the physical representation of the sacred union within themselves, of this commitment to themselves, that they know that they're deserving of happiness, that they want happiness, and that they will manifest their happiness and moving towards their happiness now, not wanting anything to hold them back, but just in a little bit of a period of rest. Let's see if there's something about the Four of Swords here. Spirit, is there anything about the Four of Swords? I'm having major throat chakra activations, you guys, and I feel like that's clearing out for the divine masculines as well. That's part of the integration energy. Four of Swords, please. Four of Swords. The Star. This is a healing energy as well, a balancing energy as well. But weren't we just talking about their happiness? Weren't we just talking about them knowing that they deserve their manifestations, their abundance, their happiness, their happily ever after, their wishes fulfilled? This is them almost in meditation and dreaming about that star, dreaming about you, divine feminines. The merging of the two energies here. Once again, the merging of the two energies, the balancing of the energies, that's what they're doing right now. They are balancing out, I'm hearing the past, the present, and what they want to manifest for their future. They are balancing all that out within them for this brand new, beautiful beginning. Something more stable, something more solid. Divine feminines. Knight of Swords, Eight of Wands, and Eight of Cups, Eight of Chalices. Divine feminines, you were in an, and again, that how detachment leads to sacred union. You were in an energy of wanting to cut out anything that wasn't serving your best and highest good. Wanting to jump to your highest timeline. Where you are abundant, where you are standing your ground, where you are in Empress mode. Nurturing and loving, but not putting up with crumbs, not putting up with anything less than what you know that you deserve. And so you were willing to cut out anything that wasn't serving your truth, that wasn't serving your values, that wasn't serving you. You were willing to walk away from. And because of that detachment, what's coming in now is greater truth, is greater clarity, is this communication, walking towards something that is more stable. For some, that might be a soulmate. For some, that is a new incarnation of your relationship with your divine counterpart. It is your Ace of Pentacles as well. It is your new beginning. Let me get some clarifying cards. Clarify the, I want to clarify the Eight of Wands. I'm being pulled towards that. Clarify the Eight of Wands, please. What's the Eight of Wands? I'm hearing, for some of you, there might have been a block in communication. You might have blocked communication with your divine counterpart. That might have been the detachment. Again, we talk about that in those special messages as well. That was collective. Understand that that was collective. You were guided to do that. And what's interesting is I was telling my divine masculine, because I was guided to block my divine masculine after some toxic communication on Messenger, which was our main form of communication, which was where it seemed like the toxicity was coming in, because we weren't communicating face to face. We weren't communicating honestly with each other. And so I was guided. I had a lot of fear around it. I didn't want to do it, but I was guided to block that means of communication. We still had phone. We still had text. We still could see each other. He actually ended up coming to my house. But I was guided to block Messenger, Because that itself, that means of communication had been a karmic cycle that we had to end. It had been a pattern that we had to end. Again, the karma, the toxicity that was ending. And I know I've spoken to a number of friends and clients who had experienced the same thing. They were guided to block their counterpart in some way, shape, or form, or withdraw their energy to put the focus back on themselves. Now, I told this to my divine masculine. I was explaining. I said, I was guided to block you. It didn't feel good. I felt afraid, but I knew it was what was meant. I knew I was guided to do that. And he said, it's funny you say that because I was guided not to respond to you. And that had been the ongoing situation where I felt like I would spill my heart, and it felt like he was ignoring me. That was something that I had to learn. That was something that I had to heal. He was showing me something there, just like I was showing him something by blocking him. That was divine orchestration, where he was guided by his intuition and I was guided by mine, so that we could close out this cycle. Understand that everything that is happening in the 3D is for a purpose. And even though it might feel so painful, even though it might feel like chaos and like you don't understand why it's happening, there is a purpose. We have to pull back and look at it almost like from the director's view is what they're showing me. Not like you're an actor playing the part in the film, but pull back and look at it from the greater perspective, from the director's view, from the soul's perspective. What is this actually showing you? If this is a part that you're playing as your human identity, what is this actually showing you to further the story along, to further your relationships along, to further your finances along, to further your soul growth along? What is this actually showing you? Because everything is forward momentum. There is no ending. Even though relationships and situations and careers, certain stages and phases of our life might come to an end, might come to a close, there's something else. We get so afraid of change because we don't see that something else. Because we can't see so far into the future, and it feels so uncertain. There's a feeling of a lack of stability. But what if we had faith in the divine? What if we had faith in ourselves, in our very own soul that said, listen, this phase of my past is closing out, and things might look a little bit different in the future, but I'm going to have faith that it's going to be what's best for me, that I'm going to be so supported, that it's going to be better. Because of how I have transformed. And even though it might feel a little bit uncomfortable because I'm leaving behind my comfort zone, I'm moving forward into something brand new. And how exciting is that? Because there's more opportunity for love. There's more opportunity for growth. There's more opportunity for abundance. There's more opportunity, period. Because I am always supported by the divine. Because my soul has that blueprint and knows the way, knows what it's doing. And I am always choosing my best and highest timeline. And as I am choosing my best and highest timeline, my life has no choice but to reflect that. My 3D world has no choice but to reflect that, because of the faith and the balance and the love that I hold within. My outside world has no choice but to reflect that. Believe in that, divine feminines and divine masculines. Have faith in that. So even if in the physical, things might not look, give me the word copacetic, they might not look as you would like, there is divine orchestration happening right now that is moving you forward, and it's actually moving this connection forward. You are in the process of sacred union, and nothing, especially if you're resonating with this message, especially if you're resonating with the wave that I read for, the collective, the segment of the collective that I read for, if you're experiencing this here, you are in the process of sacred union, and nothing can deter you from that, because it is divinely orchestrated between your souls, you and your divine masculine, between the two of you and the divine itself. It is divinely guided. And I'm going to put this in the description box as well. Sacred union is not just about a physical relationship. It is so much bigger. You're helping the entire universe to evolve and come to a state of a higher level of consciousness and a higher level of love through your sacred union. This is not the 3D relationship that you knew before. It just isn't. There's love between those relationships, the relationships between soulmates that you knew before, the relationships with your soul family. But this is so much bigger than that. You and your divine counterpart coming together. Your masculine and feminine energies merging. It is so much bigger. It is universally bigger. The universe is evolving because of you and your love. And the energy, the love energy, the pureness of the love that is between the two of you. And it might have shown as some toxicity in your relationship before, but that toxicity does not exist between the two of you. It was just what was coming up. All of your past, all of your karma, all of the baggage that you had experienced in your individual lives before that you were clearing. Also, past lifetimes that you were clearing, ancestral wounding, and generations that you were clearing. You're clearing for the collective as well, but that toxicity does not exist between true divine counterparts. It's only love. It is only pure love. So, okay, 8 of Wands. Let's get back to this. Two of Swords. Yeah. So the 8 of Wands with the 2 of Swords here, this is all about communication. There might have been some indecision. You might have been called to detach because you might have had lack of communication or poor communication, or you were fed up with communication, lack of action as well. So there was a decision that you had to make, Divine Feminines, and I feel like you made it. For some of you, you walked away from this connection. For some of you, it renewed your faith to walk towards it. And even if you're not walking towards it, as in you're not taking action for the connection, you're not meant to. You're meant to be in a state of flow and a state of receptivity. I'm not going to go into it. Again, listen to the special messages for Sacred Union linked below if you want to learn more about that. It's not about you taking action, but it's about you energetically pulling your energy back, your focus back on yourself. And by doing that, you're actually moving your connection forward, renewing your faith in the connection. It feels so paradoxical. It feels so contrary to everything that you're seeing in the physical. But remember that we're talking about energy here. And so as you pulled your energy back, it's actually moving your connection forward. So however this is resonating, either scenario, there was a decision that was made, a commitment that was made, either to yourself, where you decide to move towards a soulmate, or towards yourself, where you decide to move towards your counterpart and the faith that you feel in the connection. The faith that you feel in the connection. So take that as it resonates for you. I'm going to get another message here because I feel like there's something. Where is this leading? Where is this heading? The Ace of Cups. Holy cow, you guys. The Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. This is Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine energy right here. Look at this. Divine Feminine, she's in her emotions, leading the way with her light and that flame, that one candle. Look, this is your merged energies. The two flames becoming one to light the way home for each other. This is Divine Feminine energy. This is Divine Masculine energy, where the masculine energy actually grounds that into the physical. They ground the energy into a physical relationship, into a physical partnership, into a physical, tangible new beginning in the 3D. New beginnings all around. New beginnings in love. New beginnings in this partnership. New beginnings in this connection, energetically, emotionally. Grounding that into commitment. Grounding that into pure connection in the physical. Amazing. Holy cow, you guys. Okay, this reading feels complete. I'm not going to actually do an extended. For Patreon subscribers, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a special romance reading for you. So if you're interested in that, feel free to go on over to the Patreon later this weekend, and I will have a special romance reading for you. We'll use the Tarot Sexual Magic. We'll use the Romance Angels. I have another romance deck. We'll get some messages between divine counterparts. We will dive deep into the romance of the connection between what the counterparts are feeling towards each other. So if you're interested in that, for $11.11, you can get a monthly subscription to the Patreon. We have bonus features, exclusive readings, all the extendeds from the past 3 months are accessible, so make sure to check that out. But we're going to leave with some guidance from Spirit. I'm going to save conversations with counterparts for the Patreon subscribers for that romance reading. But I'm going to get guidance from Spirit with my Conversations with Spirit deck. Spirit, what do we need to know? What does each counterpart need to know as far as this connection and moving forward? What's the guidance for this connection? What action do they need to take? What guidance do they need to hear? So Divine Masculines, please. Divine Masculines, what guidance do we have for the Divine Masculines? That's too many. Thank you. Shift your focus. Believe in the power of love also showed up when everything flipped. So I do believe that they are believing in their happily ever after. And that's part of the shift your focus message. They are shifting their focus from this devil energy, from this karmic energy, from this entrapment, this mental entrapment too, because that's all ego is. It's mental entrapment, towards a more loving connection, towards more harmony, towards more freedom in love, more flow in love. They are shifting their focus towards their new beginning and their happily ever after, and their happily ever after with you, their love with you. And as they shift their focus, there's going to be more action that's being taken, wanting to move forward, wanting to step into that masculine energy of leadership and action and bring this connection to another level. They're wanting to take action, but it's because they are in this energy of the Four of Swords, integrating the energy. This is causing them, it's almost giving me hangman energy. This is causing illumination for them, that they're realizing the power of their thoughts. And now that this karma is completing, now that this is closing out, and they're moving into calmer waters, their focus is now shifting away from the finances or the material world or the relationships or the toxicity or the beliefs and the addictions, anything that was holding them back. They're now shifting their focus to this love because they're understanding and realizing that their abundance, their happiness lies with this connection and with this love. Beautiful. Divine Feminines, what's the message from Spirit that you need to hear? Hold on, I just dropped everything. We have remember your worth and look at life with fresh eyes. Interesting, you're actually mirroring each other here. Shift your focus and look at life with fresh eyes. Divine Feminines, I feel like this was part of that Two of Swords energy, part of the decision that was made, where you're looking at yourself, remembering how deserving you are, really standing in your power. And that's making you look at what it is that you want for your life. No longer holding yourself back, especially for the sake of this connection. No longer sacrificing yourself. No longer sacrificing your dreams. No longer in that distorted feminine energy of overgiving. Now you're looking at life with fresh eyes. I feel more optimistically. And with this connection more optimistically. And so your guidance is to continue moving forward with your life, with your dreams, remembering to stand in your power, because all of this, you both are mirroring each other, where you are in forward momentum now. You are moving towards each other. You're moving towards this connection, towards each other, because you're both ready to stand in your power. They're calling me to one more card, and I don't know what deck they want me to use. I'm going to use my own. Conversations with Counterparts, available for sale on my Etsy store. Yeah, this feels right. Okay. I feel like there's a message that wants to come out, Spirit. What? Setting boundaries for a healthier future, and I don't want to share this journey with anyone else. Yeah. Because you set the boundaries, I feel like this is Divine Feminine. Because you set the boundaries for yourself, because you remembered your worth, you're moving into this healthier future together, not wanting to share this journey with anybody else, knowing that you have this Ace of Pentacles and this Ace of Cups, anchoring this relationship, not just energetically anymore, anchoring this relationship, this union of the two into this new beginning in your physical world. Sharing this journey together now, doing this together in beautiful, harmonious partnership. Amazing, an amazing, amazing reading. All right, you guys, we will be back on Monday, I'm hoping, with a live stream. Make sure that you stay tuned to Instagram and Facebook for more updates and news about that, as well as we'll have a quick weekend update, a quick weekend reading, and see where the energies are on that as well. So I'm sending you guys so much love, so much light, and we will see you soon. Bye.